Infusión para llevar.
Yeah, so then I'm ready.
Okay, now. Audrey.
He's still cute.
So cute. Oh my gosh. How old is he?
He's 5.5. Soon he's 6.
Mine too, I think. Let me show you Falcon.
Aww,
Hi, Amanda.
it's cute.
Hello.
And he's 6 now. So they are the same age.
See.
Ah.
He's 6 in June, I think so. Say hi. Hola. Pata. 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 Pata.
Ah, he's a good one.
Yes, he's a good boy. Hola, bienvenidos a un nuevo video de Infusión para llevar. En esta ocasión tenemos a Amanda Pittoreska, creo que se dice, y vamos a hablar con ella sobre varios temas súper importantes en la danza y cosas que me gustaría que aprendieran de cómo creó una comunidad totalmente nueva en un pueblo en la hermosísima Suiza, entre montañas, entre muchísimas cosas bellísimas, cómo hizo una comunidad de bailarines que se apoyan y cómo podemos ver casos exitosos en los que de la nada salió una comunidad de bellydance o bellydance. Y bueno, sin más, vamos a cambiar en inglés, como la entrevista anterior, vamos a poner subtítulos en español y muchas gracias por ver este video. Thank you, Amanda, for waiting.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hello, my dear Amanda.
Hello, Ellie.
Amanda and I, we don't speak English. It's not our first language. It's not our native language. Amanda, she's from Switzerland and she lives in St. Gallen, which is a beautiful, beautiful town, city. I'm not sure how to define it. And I had the pleasure to know her studio and to be in her first intensive. And I want that her tell her story about how she created a community, how she put a studio in a very small town, in a very beautiful place, and how it has been.
Yeah, well, I was very alone here in a small town, so I traveled a lot. I traveled a lot to Germany and to some other parts in Switzerland where they had tribal fusion or fusion belly dance teachers. Yeah. So I traveled a lot to learn, to study as much as I could. And I studied online with YouTube videos and everything I could. So, but at some point it was a little bit, I didn't know where to go with it because in my town, I didn't have a studio. I didn't even have a space to train properly. Mm-hmm. So, and then suddenly I found the space that I have now as a studio. I never planned to do a studio, but since I had the space and it was bigger than just the space I needed, and I was asked to teach, so I started to teach. Even though I would have never imagined to become a teacher or a studio owner because I felt like I have so much to learn. I can never teach. But then somehow it happened. One thing followed the other. And so I had this space and I had my students. It was a small space. I had small classes, but I kept going and it kept growing. And some students I have since these 7 years now.
Wow.
So, yeah, and I invited my teachers to teach, so they got to know the community, the bigger community, or some parts of it. I shared like videos and stories and everything, so they can get a feel for what is out there. Oh. Because in my place, it's still very small, but I don't want it to have it isolated because it's part of everything that influenced me, and so it grew and grew, and we are still around, and I have a small community now, and they know what is out there. They know my teachers, or some of them do, and it's really beautiful. So I feel very, very at home now because I don't have to go out down all the time to feel the community, but it's also here now.
Oh, and I have, as a good fan, I have my Pittoreska t-shirt.
Very nice. You have the vintage one.
Yes, I have the vintage
old logo.
With the octopus.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful shirt. I use it not all the time because I don't want it to go away. I have my shirt, and I want to share Amanda to the world because she's a beautiful human. Not just a great dancer, because she is a great dancer, but a good teacher, a good colleague, and also she respects the teachers. And I think that's a great example of how all the dancers we can learn to grow and to have a most beautiful community, in my opinion. So I'm going to start asking you, Amanda, who is Amanda Pittoreska? Who are you? Because I know you, I know your story, but the people that don't know you, who are you?
I love this question because it's always so hard. Yeah, well, I'm Amanda. I'm Swiss. I'm a dancer, but I mostly see myself as a dance and movement teacher. So I do a lot. I do dance, fusion belly dance. I call it fusion belly dance. But I do a lot of pilates and fitness and other movement stuff. So I see myself as a movement teacher. Sometimes I perform. I still enjoy it, but it's not my main passion.
Okay.
And what else? I'm curious. I love to learn. And I'm a lawyer.
Please tell more about it. I want people to know about it.
Yeah, I studied law while I studied dance for myself. I still work a little bit for the university, so I liked to do something very different, just to change it up. But it's definitely not my passion.
You have a master's degree, right?
Yes,
I believe so.
Yes, I do.
So we have master's degree teachers with lawyer teachers. Like, whoa, that's amazing. That's so cool. I had Serena last interview. She's a mathematician, so I believe it's so cool to have people with so many different backgrounds.
I think this style, especially the technique of the style, draws a lot of like lawyers, mathematicians, like analytic people in.
I never
because I know several lawyer dancers or like science dancers, and yeah.
Yes, I know a lot of science dancers, many. Like, you never thought, and they have really serious jobs, really serious.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think because you can analyze so much about this dance technique,
yeah.
It's enjoyable.
It's like a relaxed, but you're still on the same path.
Yeah.
So let's see. And also she has a beautiful cat that I'm going to add here. Audrey, and he's amazing. I'm going to put it in the beginning. You will see.
Nice.
And also, a good question is, have you started, not to be like belly dance, that's my next question, but how you started to dance?
It's I never really danced in my life. I did some years of ballet when I was maybe 6 years old.
Oh, that's so
But I didn't like it, and I quit because I wasn't allowed to wear a tutu.
Oh.
Because
I know that
I wasn't allowed to wear one, because then the teacher couldn't see if the legs are standing correctly and stuff like this. So
and you wanted the tutu?
Yes, I wanted to have a tutu, but I couldn't. So I think it was really disappointing because I maybe did it for 2 or 3 years and then quit. And then I never like really danced for long in one style or anything. I did some classes or some summer school classes or something, but I never was a dancer really. So until belly dance came into my life.
And how it belly dance came into your life?
I think it was pretty like as it happened in many lives. So I had friends that wanted to go to a belly dance class and asked me if I want to join, and I wanted to join because belly dance somehow interested me for longer. And so I went there and I liked it. I liked the movements and the feeling of the movements, not so much the music. I could never, because I started off with Oriental dance class.
Like me, like Egyptian.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot, but it wasn't really like my style.
Yes,
that I could very much identify with. But I loved to study it, and then so I just didn't stop anymore. But about maybe half a year later, I saw a video of Rachel Bryce, of course, and I learned about tribal fusion belly dance or fusion belly dance or whatever we call it. and there I was so fascinated about the technique, but also because with the music and like the music I was listening to anyway, so I could identify much more. And then I started training like crazy over the internet mostly, and then someday workshops in Switzerland or Germany and festivals. And yeah, from there you know it, I think.
Yeah, and Amanda, she has been travel a lot everywhere. Like for the fusion community, you have been in all Europe, I think so, and also the US, right? And she has been in Travel Massive too, I think.
Yes.
It's now called the Massive.
Yeah, it's still the Tribal Massive, or in short, the Massive. And it's this like it's festival, but also like more intense training program and shows. So it's a big one.
Yes, in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
It's really cool. I'm going to add a tiny video of her dancing in Las Vegas. That's so cool. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, you have said a little bit that you already did some Pilates and yoga. Can you explain us more how has been your training? Because you're not only a dancer, you also do sports. And I want you to tell us what do you do, how do you find it? The cross training you do, I love you do that.
Yeah, well, I think my mom always did yoga for many years. So already as a child, I did yoga with her. And then as a teenager, I did yoga. So I joined yoga classes a lot. And then someday I quit regular yoga classes, but also when belly dance came into my life with the teachers I had, I kept doing yoga. And then I don't know how actually, I think I started taking Pilates classes, and Pilates helped me so much to balance my body for dance. So it helped me so much, and I was it felt so good. It helped me a lot, and I loved the Pilates concepts because they made so much sense for me. And so I did the Pilates, and then also I did take some group fitness classes, which helped me a lot, because in Pilates, in yoga, and in dance, I don't have so much for my stamina, like cardiovascular system. And so I had these fitness classes. which were so much fun because it was something very new. And I did training as a fitness trainer and group fitness trainer, and I like it so much to do these different things because it's always the same body. It's always the same anatomy. So I also did a lot of anatomy training and therapy stuff.
Wow.
But all these different like disciplines, like dance, pilates, yoga, fitness, nutrition, even, they look at the same anatomy and the same body, but from these different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it helped me a lot to understand anatomy and bodies and movement in general better, to have these different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having just one side and one idea of how we want to move. And I could experience how much this cross training helped me to be stronger and more balanced and everything I need in my dance. So, and only with dance training, I think there would be a big lack. So, Pilates, yoga, everything. That's a lot for my dance training. Why I also, it's always in my teaching, everything. I can't really separate it. Even for dance isolations, I can draw from my understanding of my anatomy training, my Pilates training for a good posture, everything. It all comes together. I can't really separate it anymore.
I know, because I took some free classes you gave last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see, I was observing how you were putting things from Pilates all the time. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of like, I love Pilates, so I was feeling like, oh, this is so cool. And then you will switch to the movement and to the isolation. I was like,
and I think it can help so much also to teach or to train dance movements.
Yeah.
Like these other disciplines give you so much material and ideas how to understand the dance movements and how to develop the strength or whatever. So
yeah,
it's so helpful.
Yeah, that's why I wanted that you will share that with us. Sorry for my English, I'm listening. I can't speak Spanish. So yeah, I think it's very important for some dancers for every dancer to explore or other things, because when you do, especially when you do fusion and all these sharp isolations, it's really hard with the body. Mm-hmm. So if you have a better understanding about the anatomy and the muscles and tendons and everything, then your practice will be better and will be more sweet to your body. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise you can have really imbalance in your body.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's really important. That's why I wanted to ask you that, because I believe that you put it like out there all the time, like do Pilates and this and yoga. Mm-hmm. And you have some trainings for like I don't know what's the name, bellydance, something for fitness.
Belly fit. Yeah, it's a kind of group fitness, and it mixes belly fit, yoga and cardio. It's all in one class. Mm-hmm. I don't teach it anymore though, because I had too many formats. And belly fit is a fixed program.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like this in the group fitness business. It's often like this, that you buy the program.
Okay.
You do the certification, but then you buy the finished programs that you teach.
Okay. Yes.
And I'm more like, I prefer the freestyle.
Yes.
Like where I'm not bound to like, and I have to do it this way because
I know.
But it's a really cool program. And it combines, that's why I did it for a while. It combines what I already did and what I love.
Yes. I think it depends on the stage you are, right? Because sometimes you want something very fixed, and then you're like,
yeah,
but I want to explore this one now.
yeah. And I'm like this. I'm like, oh, and then now I have to do this, and I see my students, and I want to react on that. Yeah. Of course, it's also possible in the fixed program, but it's not so much for me.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask that because I saw many things you were having. You are always learning new stuff, and I love it. And you're putting new trainings and new workshops, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
I think I'm almost always in some training or workshop, or there's not much break in between.
Forever student, I like it.
Yes.
So let's see. Yeah, you already explained a little bit, but I want you to to explain it bigger and more, and explain more about your lovely studio. How it has been dancing in St. Gallen, because I've seen amazing pictures. I know the city needs cozy spaces like yours, and how it has been to create something from zero, because she created this from zero. There was no fusion community there. And how it has been dancing, having your community, your students. Tell us everything about your studio, about Pittoreska studio.
I think it was quite easy. I think the hardest thing was patience.
Okay.
Because it needs a lot of patience, like a plant. You need patience you have to give time to grow. But for me, my values and ideas and my ethics is so clear to me. It is always clear what I wanted to do, and where it should go. Of course, some things changed over time. It's like we change over time, and I got feedback from students or experience with suddenly working with other people, and so of course this influenced some values and stuff that happened. But I think it felt, most of the time it felt so natural and obvious to me. So I think it's because I'm very clear about my purpose, like the overall reason for what it should be and why. So it kind of happened, but patience.
It kind of happened.
And I think the other hard thing is ego. But because there will be disappointments whenever you work with other people or with students, but I think that's mostly ego stuff then that you have to let go. And I think I'm okay with, I can handle my ego. Most of the time I can handle it quite well, and so it's not an ego project. It never was, and this makes it a lot easier and more clear what it needs and what it doesn't need.
That's good. Meaning it's not just about you, it's about something bigger.
It's so not about me.
I feel like that
would have been harder, a lot harder.
And I feel like that with the videos I do. Like it's not just about me.
Yeah, you're just the one delivering it and helping it, supporting it, and but it's not about me. It's about what I believe in.
Exactly. It's about what you want to share and what you want to have something back to, but an exchange, not just me.
I think if you're clear about what it is about, what's the reason, what's the purpose, your values, you attract people that feel similar. And so my experience, maybe there are some bad experience, but mostly I'm so happy with everyone in this community, with all my students, because I think they're just also, they have the same values. Otherwise, they wouldn't stay. And so also how this community grew, it was very natural without a lot of, I don't know, competition stuff.
Yeah.
Bad experiences.
And I want to know more. Well, I know I want to share more about. I saw you have been traveling to the Massive with your students.
Mm-hmm.
That's so lovely. And also, I know about your project in the theater, in the small theater, and I want you to tell us about this theater too. So those two topics.
We did. I think I will talk about the theater first, because this is first. So it was a show called the Tentacle Spectacle, so the tentacle of the octopus spectacle. And it took place in the puppet theater in St. And it's right next to my studio, and I was there several years ago and watched a puppet piece. And I saw the theater. It's a really small one with, like, I think maximum 150 seats, and with red velvet and a small stage, and so it's next to my studio, and it was perfect. And I knew if I do a show someday, it will be there. And so we had it there, and Samantha Emanuel was there, and many from everywhere. And we did one or two, I think 2 pieces I did with my students. And then also many years later, like last year, I also went to Travel Massive to perform with 2 of my students. And I love it so much.
Your face.
I mean, the smallest moment of the project is the one actually on stage.
Yes.
And I think it's not the most important moment about the project. And I enjoy so much when my students are on fire and I can feel it, that now they are into the project and into the training the choreography and working together and meeting up to train it. And I love to see that. Even when I'm not performing together with them. Yeah. Sometimes I only help in the preparation. And so I enjoy that just as much. And it's so beautiful to see them on stage.
I was beautifully surprised when I saw them, like, oh, that's so cute. Because normally, one, it's not possible for all the students to travel. And not all the teachers bring their students with them to dance. So I thought, what a great chance. Had the money, and she wanted to take them with her. It's
really impressive to see how people are ready to invest that much. Not only money, but also time and energy, everything. So that's really beautiful. Yeah. And they do it for something I created. So I think this mutual trust, and it's really beautiful. But I think it's also important to create or perform something that's appropriate for everyone, because we are very different levels. Also, my students are very different. And I don't think it's worth doing something very spectacular on stage, but half of the group feels uncomfortable and it's not enjoyable for them. So I think it doesn't need a lot in the choreography. It's more about how everyone in the group feels to make it a group.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you also have capacity to enjoy the group instead of only being in the choreography and being scared of doing a mistake.
Enjoy the time.
Yeah.
And I want to make a lovely question, because it's often we hear we need to go to other countries to learn. And I know you have made some travels to India and to Menat countries too. Can you tell us where have you traveled? What have you learned? It has been all touristy. What is your experience?
In India, we have very close family friends from India, or my mom is, because she traveled there many times, and she has her close friends, like one family, and she's the godmother of one of their childs. And when we went there, we went to India. I went together with my mom, and for 2 weeks we traveled through Rajasthan with another friend from Switzerland, that Maya, she's called Maya. She organizes travels through Rajasthan to experience traditional music, dance, and cultural stuff. So it was kind of course, it was also touristy. We also went to see some beautiful temples and everything, but we also had the opportunity to meet musicians and see a puppet theater.
Yeah,
it's really traditional in Rajasthan. It was so beautiful and so funny. And so we had this, like, we met because Maya studied a lot of dance in Rajasthan, and so we could meet some of her teachers, and it was really, really interesting. And then for the rest of the trip, we went to my mom's family friends, and we experienced not so much the art, but just their life, like cooking together, living together. And so it was not at all touristy in there, and I enjoyed it a lot.
I love those travels where you experience the real culture,
like the normal life. And I traveled to Morocco once, and we traveled around with a local. So we someday we met his family, and so we had not so much as in India, but we had a flavor of the regular life, because we enjoyed it much more, and we stopped in really small villages where no public bus stops, and so it was really, really good to see. Very interesting.
I saw your pictures. The pictures were kind of unique. I never saw those places in the tourist maps. And I was kind of like, whoa, where is she? What is she doing?
Yeah.
Where is
of course. If you go to new places, you also want to see the attractions, because of course they are beautiful, otherwise they wouldn't be famous attractions. So I had that, but we always try to find people people from there, and talk to people from there, and it's much richer, I think.
It's I study tourism, so for me, when I took the career, I saw many people interested about going to Europe, for example, in my case, and watching the Eiffel Tower, then the Tower of Pisa, and then
one to take all these pictures and
take pictures. And I was in all Europe, right? Sorry. So I remember.
I prefer to really spend time.
Yes.
Where I am.
I remember I spent how many weeks in total? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks in St. Gallen.
Yeah.
And
2 weeks minimum, I think. Yeah.
Things people stay 1 day maybe, and it's no, stay more time. There's so many beautiful things.
Yeah. Of course, it takes a lot of time, and you see much less, but you see other stuff.
Yeah. St. Gallen has a beautiful musical box.
Oh, yes.
It's so tiny.
Yeah. And I was there the first time with you.
Yes.
I think you even told me that we have.
Yes, because I searched for every tiny detail.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because I don't know if you knew Anthony Bourdain. He used to travel that way. Like he was kind of like a chef, and he traveled the world and saw the most luxury place and the most humble place, and everything in the middle. But he experienced everything, not just the main place or not just a friend's place, like everything. Like I want to see the whole experience to see how I feel, and I think that's very important when you travel.
Yeah.
And I think we have that in common, that we love to see not just the main places, but also secret places, tiny places, how people live, talk to people, like know how their lives are. They are easy, they are hard, they have what they have studied, they do dance, they are musicians, you know. Sometimes you find musicians in the most irregular places. You find sometimes dancers that have masters in law, you know, for example.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love those stories. I love it. I know you went to other countries, but I think for the interview, I wanted to know more about the MENAT countries. You went to Turkey, maybe?
Not yet.
Ah.
I planned intensive with Cami, the retreat, and it's one of her chrysalis intensives, the conception course, where you develop choreography and creativity. And so we wanted to do that in Turkey, in a very beautiful, like, artist's habitat. And this would have been last October. And obviously it couldn't happen. So maybe it's this year in October, but
maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, so not yet.
If that happens, I will see the pictures, but I hopefully. I will pray that happens.
Someday.
So, Amanda, who are your teachers? You named just one a few seconds ago, but who are your teachers and your main inspirations?
I think it's Samantha Emanuel, because she was my very first one, and I still consider her as my teacher, because she is amazing, very, very inspiring. And like, she's also this like forever student. But she brings such great work, so I love her. And then of course it's Rachel Bryce. I did of course she was my main inspiration for starting this dance, but I also did the 8 Elements teacher training to the teacher certification, and I teach her the Dura format, and so she is my teacher, and she will always be, I guess. And then I did a lot with Cami Little. Also in my early years, she was a big inspiration for me, because I could very much identify with her style and her choice of music and her everything. And I also, like, for the last couple of years, I started working with her and inviting her, so I had even more training with her. And I think Ashley Lopez.
Oh, yes.
Right now I'm doing her integrated dance training, but also before I had the chance to take some workshops with her in person, but also on the Datura online. And I love what she does, because I think we have a very similar background, and I love her like approach to everything, like her cross-training approach, her Pilates background, her fitness background, and the dance background. So I enjoy to train with her a lot, and I can learn so much from her.
It makes sense to take classes with her, because she has so much to cross. Yeah.
And I think they are my main teachers and inspirations, but I mean, there are so many more teachers that I had and inspirations. But these are like the ones like sticking out most.
And for the next one, I am switching with Zoom. Sorry. So please, I know you have say a few of these already, but share the best experiences in dance, or 1, 2, 5. I don't know.
I think one of my best experiences ever, was my performance during the first lockdown in Camille Little's show. The lockdown dance party.
Mm-hmm.
I was invited in, I think, the second one that she did. And it happened in the middle of the first lockdown, and my life was difficult. My relationship was broke, and there was the lockdown, and everything changed. And so my life was like, and then I had this performance in my room. So I was at home in my room alone. I mean, there were thousands of people watching, but I was there alone, and I had this song that touched me so deeply, and I danced to it. And I think it was the performance I enjoyed most of all my performances, because it was like therapy. It was, I don't know why, it was a magical moment. And I think it's also I have the video. It's the one, I think it was, I think, one of my best performances, but maybe it's only because of my feeling for it. So this I will always remember. And we're again in a lockdown, so it feels very close. Yeah.
I saw you and I cried, and I had happy tears. Like, gosh, she has become a great dancer. Not just good, great.
It's special because otherwise my best experience are never on stage, because I think performing is not my strength, and it's also not my passion. So my other best experiences I have while teaching or working with my project groups. So it's never really this stage moment. But this one was really, really special.
It was really beautiful to watch. Really beautiful. So that's your main one for now, and other ones that you have with students, even behind the scenes, it's okay.
Yeah, there are so many, so I can't really pick out one, because it's also like not one specific moment, but during this and last year, during Corona, it's like what my students gave me during this time. It's not one moment, but how they write me and what they write me and how they act and how they support us. And it's really beautiful, but it's not one moment, it's just a state. And it feels really rewarding, and it was surprising for me also, like this big support. And like, it's not only me that feels it's a community. Mm-hmm. I realized that they see it as a community and as kind of a family. And I think when I realized it, how big it was and in how many heads this was really beautiful.
I can imagine. It's like you are watching all the hard work pay off.
Yeah, there I really realized I'm not alone anymore.
That's beautiful, and you can find your own community. That's mm-hmm. amazing. Like, from the ground. Anyway, how
patience.
That's hard for every.
I know.
For every human being, I think patience is the hardest, because we might want everything to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's 6 months already. I want results.
Can I take a short little break because I think my mom just rang the bell. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. How are you?
I'm fine.
It's
And you?
cold. It's
Yeah,
cold.
it's very cold. Really, snowing whole day, up and down.
You see the sun here?
Yes.
I will send it to you a little bit. Amanda, how do you keep fit? Do you have any fitness ideas you can share with us, or everything's very secret?
Nothing is secret. But I don't have one specific routine that I could share now.
Uh-huh.
I keep fit with my cross training, and I think it's important to know that only because you're not training dance technique but doing something else in movement, it still makes you better in dance.
Yes.
Because we simply don't have time to do everything. But even when you're doing Pilates or fitness or whatever you like, or running or swimming, it will make you better in dance. Because sometimes we feel a little bit lost because we just have so much time and we need to practice dance and all this stuff in dance, but then we don't have time to do any other movement.
Mm-hmm.
But any movement helps. If it's like, I still like quality, but whatever you do, if you do it with quality and understanding of why you do it and how you do it,
yeah,
it will help your dance.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When you're fit and healthy and happy in general, overall, you will be that in dance.
And you have been taking some nutrition classes, and you're doing like recipes, right?
Yes, I did the nutrition coach training. And then during Corona, I had much more time somehow, even though I could still work all my jobs online or at home. But still, I had more time, and I love cooking, and I have more time for that. And I thought, why not share the recipes? It just happened. I didn't plan it. I just liked it.
Yes, I saw your pictures on Instagram about really delicious stuff. Love it. So, this is a great question. This is the question, I love it. This is, okay. Put our imagination caps. You have heard that expression from the US people. Let's put our imagination caps.
We don't have it, but I understand.
Me neither. Yeah, and so let's imagine you can choose and you can have the best community in dance. How it will be.
With way less ego. But I think, and more trust and let me think the word. Selbstvertrauen. With a lot more, I have to.
Yes, I love it.
With much less ego, but much more confidence. Because I think a lack of confidence and then a lack of knowledge leads to ego and competition.
Yes, so true.
Because if you feel safe and sure about what you share and teach and present and whatever, there's no need for competition.
I agree.
And I think competition is such a waste of time and energy that could be served better for the community instead of against the community.
Yeah.
And I think then also as a community just naturally grows in a healthy, confident and loving way, then you don't have to fight. There shouldn't be a need to fight for creating a community.
Yeah, I agree. I believe the only competition you must have, and still I have mixing feelings about it, is with yourself. Sometimes competing with yourself is not so healthy either. So
yes, and I think when it turns unhealthy or too much, it comes out.
Yes, it's like, I remember, I don't know if you had to dance with Mirabets, but I remember she said something about thinking on your training like a mom. She used to think about like a warrior, like battling and
yes.
And then she thought, when she became a mom, she understood she needed to see her training like if she was her mom, and
with much more kindness somehow. And yes,
it's more like nurturing your dance.
I'm learning that too. Even without a child.
Yes, well, you have Audrey. Not the same, but but you can learn. I don't know. I have Falcor. It's not a child, but
it's like
a tiny
little bit.
Tiny. Yeah, I think your community, it's a beautiful example of a healthy community. And I love that you said it's not perfect, because some people might believe a healthy community is perfect. It's not.
No, it's not perfect. Perfect is boring. Because then there would be no need to continue your work, or you would just, or I would.
Yeah. I don't remember who said that your piece as a human, you're like an art, like a piece of art. So it's only finished when you die.
Yeah, I think when you think of yourself or whatever you do as perfect, it stops you from keep learning or working.
Yeah.
But also it's important to know that it's not only if it's perfect, it's good enough. It's way before it's good enough.
Yeah. Also,
it never has to be perfect.
And measuring your little success. So, Amanda, there's any subject you really want to bring to the interview, something you really wanted to say, like out loud about dance, anything, I don't know, any idea how it felt, whatever.
I think what is most important to me, I just said before, but I can say it again because it's so important. I think it's about the ego thing and knowledge, because it doesn't matter too much about which topic. Is it cultural appropriation or your style of teaching or your performances or whatever? I think if you keep learning and you keep this growth mindset, there's no much need for too much ego. And I think this maybe lack of knowledge or focusing on competition instead of learning creates so much distress and discomfort and it kind of, it's bad for the community. So I think the best we can do and should do is keep the growth mindset for whatever topic and keep learning and stay curious and humble. And that's it.
Be water, my friend. Oh. Amanda, you know, I love you so much for a ton of reasons. I can even start, and for she has seen my best and my worst in my life, and I'm so glad you have gave me this interview. I want to show you to the world because I think it deserves to see you. It needs to see your point of view too. So
thank you for doing these interviews and these videos and sharing different stories.
I love it.
Great job you do.
Thank you.
And thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
It was a very, very nice talk.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I'm going to close the interview. Thank you so much. You came to say bye? Audrey. He reacts to the things in the camera?
He's wet.
Oh.